Welcome back. We left off in the last video with this console log of the connects query that we just did. Now, this on the right here is what connects does. It builds our SQL statement for us. So what we just console logged was the query statement that Postgres or connects created for Postgres. You can see over here that the builder is an object that has all the information we need to speak with the SmartBrain and do this query. If I actually want to access something from the users, I will have to do our friend.then, because this returns a promise and we get our response. In our case, it'll be data. This data, again, we don't have to do JSON because we're not sending it through HTTP. We get back a data, and if we just console log this data, let's see what we get. Save, and go down, and it's an empty array. That's a good sign. We don't have any users yet, but we're getting a response. So let's do that. Let's create a statement to insert users when they register. I'm going to change this into the DB variable, just so it doesn't get confusing, and we'll just keep that as database. All right, let's go to the register endpoint. And I'm going to minimize this database because we're going to stop using it and delete it afterwards. And if we go to register, we see that now instead of doing the database.users.push in the variable, we can just use connects. We can remove this and do db dot. Well, we'll have to insert, right? Let's look at the connects docs and see. And we see clear methods, insert. All right, look at this great documentation. We can just find out exactly what we need. In order to insert something, we have the insert method with the data and what we want to, what is going to get returned. We can just copy and paste this. Okay, so we can just do db into users. We want to insert, and it just reads so nicely. I love connects. We want to insert an object, and this object is going to contain whatever we had in the user's information. So we want to insert an email, in which case it will be email. We have the name, which again is the name that we receive from the body. We also have the password, but remember in our table, we don't have the password under the users. So we'll leave that blank. And if we go back to our table example here and connect back to here, we see that users ID is automatically generated, name, email, entries defaults to 0, so we don't have to enter anything. And joined is the date that they've joined. So let's just do joined, new, date. And once we insert, let's just do a .then console.log to see what we get back. I'm going to save. We don't get any errors, which is good. And we can go back to our app. Actually, just because it's faster, instead of doing register through here, we're going to open up Postman. And Postman already has all our previous commands here, which I love. So let's click on the register endpoint with the body of Anne, apples, and let's click send. All right, we get a response, but remember, we never changed the response. But if we go back to the server, we get result, insert. All right, it looks like it worked. If we go back to the database and do select star from users, how cool is that? We have Anne, who has been entered as our very first user with default entries of 0. Amazing. It's like magic. How simple was it to just use connects and Postgres and create our first database? All right, in the next video, we're going to work on this response. I'll see you in that one. Bye-bye.